The soul of the great bell. Long ago in ancient China, during the reign of a powerful emperor, there lived a skilled bellmaker named Kouan-Yu. He was known throughout the kingdom for creating magnificent bells, whose sounds could echo across mountains and rivers. His only daughter, Ko-Ngai, was admired not only for her beauty, but also for her kindness and devotion to her father. One day, the emperor commanded that a gigantic bell be made for the royal temple in the capital city. It was to be the grandest bell ever created in the empire, so large and so beautiful that its sound would symbolize the glory of the emperor's reign. Kouan-Yu was chosen for the task, and although honored, he knew the responsibility was enormous. If he failed, he would suffer the emperor's wrath. The bellmaker gathered the finest metals, gold for richness, silver for purity, brass for strength, and iron for power. Day and night, workers prepared the furnace while Kouan-Yu carefully planned every detail. Finally, the molten metal was poured into the great mold. But when the mold was opened, disaster struck. The bell was cracked. The emperor became furious. He warned Kouan-Yu that failure would not be tolerated again. If the next attempt failed, he would be sentenced to death. Terrified but determined, Kouan-Yu tried again. More precious metals were melted. Flames rose high into the sky as workers poured the glowing liquid into the mold. Yet when the bell cooled, it shattered even worse than before. Now the bellmaker fell into deep despair. He barely ate or slept. His face became pale with fear because he knew one final failure would cost him his life. Ko-Ngai could not bear to watch her father suffer. She loved him deeply and wanted to save him. One evening, while wandering through the streets in sorrow, she heard of an old wise man who understood the secrets of spirits and metal. Desperate for help, she visited him. The old man listened carefully before speaking in a low voice. "The bell cannot be completed," he said, "unless the blood of a pure and loving maiden is mixed with the molten metal. Only then will the metals unite and the bell become whole." Ko-Ngai's heart trembled. She realized at once what must be done. Yet she told no one, not even her father. The day of the final casting arrived. Crowds gathered around the furnace. Soldiers stood nearby, ready to report success or failure to the emperor. Kouan-Yu, weak from worry, gave the signal for the molten metal to be poured. The glowing river of fire flowed into the great mold. At that very moment, Ko-Ngai suddenly rushed forward through the crowd. Before anyone could stop her, she cried out her father's name and leaped into the blazing furnace. The workers screamed in horror. Kouan-Yu tried to save her, but it was too late. The molten metal swallowed her completely. Only one delicate shoe floated briefly upon the fiery surface before disappearing beneath the flames. The bellmaker collapsed in grief. Yet the casting continued, and when the mold was finally opened days later, everyone stood in amazement. The bell was perfect. Its surface shone like sunlight on water. Beautiful carvings covered its sides, and not a single crack could be found. It was the greatest bell the empire had ever seen. Soon, the emperor ordered the bell to be hung inside the royal temple tower. When it was struck for the first time, its sound filled the city with deep and haunting music. But the people noticed something strange. Hidden within the bell's ringing was a sorrowful voice. Some said the sound resembled the cry of a young woman calling, "Mi di, mi di," the words meaning, "My shoe, my shoe." The people believed the soul of Ko-Ngai lived within the bell forever, her love and sacrifice trapped inside its metal heart. Kouan-Yu never recovered from losing his daughter. Though the emperor praised the magnificent bell, the old craftsman could hear only the sorrow in its voice. Each time the bell rang across the city, it reminded him of the daughter who gave her life to save him. And so the great bell became more than a masterpiece of metal and fire. It became a symbol of love, sacrifice, and devotion, stronger than death itself. Even generations later, travelers who heard the bell's mournful sound would remember the story of brave Kouan-Yu, the daughter whose spirit became the soul of the great bell.